we have got an interesting one today, bro. We have a guy that had a bike stolen. For all you thieves out there, F you. Over here they got a Raptor 700R, you said? Woo, this sounds ridiculous. We got a theft recovery bike. I'm just gonna come out here and let you guys know it's a theft recovery. The guy did a number on this bike. He had about a month with the bike, from my knowledge, and he stripped this thing down. He knew what he was doing. Luckily, there's not a lot of stuff that's been hacked. He did it right. However, there's a ton of things missing. So whether he already sold it or the police didn't capture it in evidence, I don't know the story, but it's pretty bad. So I want to show you what we have right now, or what the client just brought us. And there's actually a few bonus parts we got in with the mix that I was like, look, dude, I don't want that. He's like, just take it. Doesn't even have anything to do with bikes, but they recovered it. Great job, police. And anyway, he included it in his stash, and so we're just gonna toss some of those. But look at what we're dealing with here on this one. So here's part of it. And as you can tell, we have a slip-on, a swing arm, motor, front forks. The wiring harness is thrown in here. He's got the front brake calipers with one bolt. Header with the cat, some plastics, airbox over there, seats, rear plastics. We have some miscellaneous stuff like hoses, rear shock, windscreen, frame, kickstand. In this bag, he brought the bolts. And for those of you, oh, look at that. All right. Yep. Okay. So, and for those of you who know Gixxers, pretty sure you can tell by looking at this right here that this ain't shit. This is definitely not enough bolts to put Humpty Dumpty back together. So we have an engine mount bolt. We got the rear axle here. This is the front axle here. But we are missing here. We have a front engine bolt. Here are the front mount bolts right here. We got two of those. And just some miscellaneous. I see exhaust bolts in there. And that's about it. I see some that's an injector. This isn't the injector rail or the fuel rail. This is a bolt for that. There's a bunch of miscellaneous bolts in here. A couple of spacers, a couple of the wheel spacers. Yeah, we got swing arm nut. You know, again, we have a bunch of random. Oh yeah, so that might be the rear axle nut. Here's a swing arm. There's a swing arm nut. Anyway, we're missing a ton of bolts. We don't have any fairing bolts. We don't have the front caliper bolts. Actually, that might be what those other two bolts are in there. They might not be the front engine mount bolts. Those might actually be the front caliper bolts. Anyway, we're not too sure until we really start going through it. At least we got the motor. The motor looks pretty good. Hopefully there's no damage. We even got some struts thrown in here from a truck or a car or something. It looks like truck struts, but anyway, we got that thrown in. Like I said, rear swing arm, and we have the frame. The guy did like kind of tear off the VIN plate. He did drill out the rivet, and he did scratch off whatever he could down here. But the idiot tried to scratch this one, but he didn't do a good job. So you can still make out this VIN number. So luckily that's still on there, and that looks good. But motor looks okay. He's definitely missing some parts off the motor as well, but some of that stuff we have here in the shop. We can just throw them. Not the end of the world. But let me show you the rest of the stuff. We have a fuel pump and a starter in here. A bunch of miscellaneous stuff in here. We got the front fender. It's all scuffed up. We got some more plastics in there. I see headlights, like the LED headlights. I do see a couple of bolts down in the bottom. Again, we really got to go through this. I do see, it looks like the rear brake assembly is in there too. I don't know. So I'm gonna have to go through that. We have the subframe here. Luckily, this is all intact for the most part. Now he is missing, again, bolts. We're missing a ton of bolts. I don't think we have any of these bolts. We don't have a fuel pump or the fuel tank bolt. You know, we don't have the subframe to frame bolts. We don't have any of that. Luckily, we have this bolt bin here that's we've collected a bunch of crap over the years. Lewis has got a bolt bin. Brandon's got a couple of bolt bins. We obviously have the front stay with the front headlight and everything. We have the mirrors. We are missing a cluster. He's not sure, so we're missing the cluster. He's not sure where the cluster is. More than likely, the guy probably sold that already. But we are missing that. He's got the fuel tank. He does have the top to the fuel tank, but I didn't see any keys. So that's going to be an interesting one. We're probably going to have to bust that out and get him a new lock, a new locking mechanism for the fuel cap. He's even missing the mount. So he's even missing the mount that goes onto the frame from the fuel tank. So that's incredible. He's got the radiator. We did see a fan in there. The rest of this is all the customer stuff, different customers. But so he is missing a ton of stuff off this thing. You know, he's missing the ignition, the upper triple tree, chain, rear sprocket, rear rotor, front rotors. Obviously, you know, no, I think he's got the speed sensor on this one. I don't think those are in the wheels yet. I think that is still in the transmission on this bike. He's missing the slip-on. He had a M4 GP slip-on. He no longer has that. That's something that I think they sold, that the guy sold. He did bring me a Yoshimura slip-on. I looked at it, I was like, dude, this, you know, this isn't what was on the bike. He said, I know, I just want something on it for right now, so we'll see. I don't even know if it's the right slip-on for that bike, to be honest with you. I don't know if he knows that or not either, but you see kind of what we're working with. The kid's young. He's still in college. He's a young kid. I feel for the guy. He said he only had the bike for like 2 months, and this piece of crap stole it from him and started parting it out and all that jazz, you know, within his 2nd month. I mean, I really, truly feel for the guy. You know, it sucks. People like that, they really do kind of put a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths. I'm really glad that this guy is still continuing to do this, to put it back together, to keep the bike. You know, most people probably would give up. They would probably part the bike out, move on to something else, but he loves the bike. Honestly, he showed me pictures. This bike was beautiful. It looked so good. It was black and this maroon red, that kind of candy apple dark red. He also had the maroon or candy apple red wheels that matched it. Like, the bike was beautiful, man. And it just sucks. It sucks that these pieces of shit like this guy exist that steal, and they just take people's hard-earned stuff, and then they go and, you know, they start parting it out like a dick. So anyway, that we got our work cut out for us. It's gonna take us some time to put it back together. This gentleman's gonna be traveling actually across the world, so he's like, look, I'm not really gonna be in touch with you during this process, so just do it right, please, you know, take care of it. So we'll just see how it goes. But honestly, guys, this one's gonna be a pretty cool build. Maybe we'll split it up into a couple of parts, because obviously there's quite a bit of things that need to be done. This isn't something that's gonna take us a day or a week to do. Also, considering just the budget, we have to keep that in mind. He's on a extremely tight budget. So we want to make sure that, again, we're adhering and getting as close as we can to his budget without breaking the bank. Like I said, we do feel for the guy. It's not like it's his fault. You know, he got screwed, and, you know, now he's having to come out of pocket trying to fix everything. So at the end of the day, it's a ton of work. So this is literally going to be a frame up build. For all you thieves out there, F you. I hope you guys, seriously, I hope karma comes around and bites y'all on the ass, because you guys suck. So today we have a few things going on. We are going to be working on this 08 ZX14. We have a set of board throttle bodies that we're going to be installing. We just did a valve adjustment on that. We actually made a video, or we're making a video, I should say, on that particular bike that you can catch at a later date on our YouTube. And another thing, I'm gonna try to mess with this Aprilia a little bit more. We have an RSV4R, RSV4 RF, I should say. And I've been messing with this bike for a little bit off and on now. We've been having some issues with the ECU flashing stuff, so we're trying to get it rectified. It's definitely a learning curve for us. I've never done an Aprilia before, so I'm trying to learn that system and that programming. It's very different from what I'm used to, so I'm trying to learn that. We have the ZX14R. Now, this one we didn't do a video on. We should have, but we didn't. Admittedly, we didn't. But we rebuilt this motor. We did a few mods inside this motor. Nothing crazy. It's more or less a stock OEM rebuild. But again, we did throw in a couple little goodies. So we're gonna do a little bit of break-in on this. We're waiting on a couple of little odds and ends. Like we're missing some really stupid minor things. So you know, we have an overflow hose for the coolant reservoir that we need, and her battery's dying, as well as, yeah, the battery's kind of having some issues as well. Again, we just need to kind of clean this up and kind of get it ready to be thrown on the dyno. So that, we're gonna be messing with that a little bit today. We put a few heat cycles in it already, so everything's coming together on that bike. And we have this turbo Gixxer in here. Now, we're probably not gonna mess with this today. This was a drop off, but he's got a turbo, it's a 05 turbo Gixxer. Supposedly this is a built motor, and it made like 280 wheel on low boost, and on high boost it's supposed to make something outrageous, but I don't remember what he told me. But long story short, we can't even get the bike to start it. And when we did get it to crank one time, and when we got it to crank, it's just spewing out oil out of here. So we're either gonna have a turbo issue, it's either gonna be a bad turbo, or we're gonna have an issue with the draining system here with the scavenge pump, or we're gonna have an issue with the motor, which I don't think it is, because the time we did get it to crank, the motor sounded pretty healthy, to be honest with you. It sounded like it was firing on all four. Again, it sounds like something else, and you can tell they definitely threw a thicker head gasket in here. We got a spacer. It definitely has something done to it. I don't know what, but we kind of just did a slight little inspection on it when the guy was dropping it off. And then we have this Gen 3 busa. We are going to lower this, and he's actually debating on doing a set of cams. So Brock's just came out with a set of cams, drop-in camshafts that I need to do a little bit of research on it, but he's very interested in it. As you guys know, or maybe you don't know, but those Gen 3 busas, the top end, because of the new Euro 5 stuff, a lot of these new motorcycle manufacturers have to...
Never fails.
Oh my gosh, they broke out too, yeah. So that is on the
ZX14.
ZX14. These are the side pins that go in, yeah, right here.
Where that one's missing.
These are very, very, very common to fall out, if you will. They're very common to fall, and they're very common to get stripped. So it happens, especially with the age. But as you guys well know, on those Gen 3 busas, the top end, due to the new Euro 5 stuff, they're running smaller throttle bodies than the Gen 2, and they also are running smaller cams than the Gen 2. So a big mod that people are doing now on those Gen 3s is they're doing a lot of camshafts. So Brock's just came out with a very affordable, I think they're like 750 bucks or 800 bucks for a set of 2 cams. Which I believe, now again, this is just my assumption, but I believe they're just basically Gen 2 camshafts. So, could be wrong. I don't know. I'd have to do a little bit of research, but that's just kind of how I feel. And then we have a Z900 that we need to, that we're going to put on the dyno today and do an ECU flash and dyno tune on. So another thing that's going on here at the shop, guys, the front half of the shop, there is a new tenant now, and it's Sparks Powersports. And they work on ATVs and UTVs. So we have a couple of them here now, and you know, they're working with what they got. It's pretty funny. Let's just see what they got going on. What size are these again, Brandon?
40 by 24s.
40 by 24s. Massive. Just to give you a size comparison, there's Brandon.
There's 30s over there, so the machine.
Okay,
so 30s next to 40s.
These are 30s. These are a set of 30s. And these are 40s. Just to give you, I mean, look right here.
Missed it. I just had the whole tire up against the wall too, so you can see it's as big as the door.
Yeah, I mean, well, just to get the comparison there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, these things are pretty stout. And then over here they got a Raptor 700R, you said?
Yes, sir.
And then they're doing a big bore kit on this thing. So they're turning it into an 800cc quad here. CP piston. Should do pretty good. Should definitely do pretty good. And you guys are doing a cam too, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's right.
Hot cam, going bigger on it.
Hot cam. That's pretty crazy because hot cams they do a lot of like single cylinder stuff. I'd realize too, because they're big on groms and all that jazz.
Going in.
You know, look at that cam. So crazy to see, little baby cam. That's
Big
crazy.
cam.
And the thing, you know, it's bigger, you know, for what what it's going in. It's pretty wild.
100%.
This is a big ass.
86 inches is it, Mike, to the roof?
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, 86. Yeah.
85.
Yeah, this is tall, and it's crazy because you can't see. I'm trying to get you guys kind of near it, just to give you like a reference.
There you go.
Yeah, Mike, how tall are you?
6 foot.
You're 6 foot. Jesus Christ, yeah,
Wow, there's just
6
high
foot. Yeah,
The floor is at your waistline.
yeah. The floorboard is quite literally it's literally at your hip. So here's my hip.
Open the door.
How you open these damn things? Yeah. So just to give you guys an idea.
It is big now. That's on
Hip.
We need a power thing.
My hip comes to the floorboard, and I'm 5'8", so that's wild. She dirty.
Hey,
dirty.
don't hate.
It's dirty. When are you gonna clean this thing?
After we ride it next time.
Yeah.
Just get the outside's clean. It looks clean.
Yeah, the outside's nice.
Just don't look on the inside.
It's the outside that counts, right? This one's filthy. But motor looks good.
Yeah.
Motor looks pretty clean all in all.
She'll be fast.
Hell yeah. She's gonna scoot. We should get the startup on this.